Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. The top story comes from Iran, where on one hand, Israeli bombings have intensified, and on the other hand, a major earthquake has struck. Yes, the intensity of the quake was recorded at around 5.5 or 5.1 on the Richter scale. However, Western analysts are saying this may not be a natural earthquake. Rather, it could be a nuclear test by Iran. Of course, no one has solid evidence for this, but it is being said that 2 earthquakes have occurred in the past week in that region, and they deviate from the normal seismic activity there. If this speculation is true, even partially, it could completely change the dynamics of the entire region. Given the current tension in the region, especially surrounding Iran, this could shift the situation drastically. We may either witness the war escalating to a level where it becomes disastrous for everyone, or perhaps the war will come to a halt. Time will tell whether this earthquake is indeed connected to Iran's nuclear program. One thing is certain: Iran has shocked the world with the way it's been retaliating strongly, responding to threats with threats and to attacks with attacks. Despite decades of sanctions, Iran's conventional military capabilities, like its air force, are not on par with its adversaries, yet it is standing its ground. Iran insists it is not building a nuclear bomb, so its refusal to sign agreements or engage in negotiations speaks volumes. Again, there's no concrete proof yet, but this development is significant. Western analysts believe this was not a natural earthquake. They suspect a nuclear test. And as I mentioned, despite several attacks on Iran's nuclear program, there has been no meaningful success. Israel claimed early on that its strikes had been effective, but even Israel now admits that no substantial success was achieved. If a truly effective strike had occurred on a nuclear facility, radiation would have leaked, and it couldn't have been hidden by Iran or anyone else. This would have been clear proof of a successful, decisive strike by Israel. In our previous vlog, we detailed how Iran's most secure nuclear assets, including its uranium enrichment facilities, are buried deep within mountains, beyond the reach of any existing bomb. Iran claims this enrichment is for civilian purposes, not for bomb making. We also explained in detail the locations and depth of these facilities, and even the kind of bombs the United States has that might reach them. But even those have low chances of penetrating such depths. If you haven't seen that vlog, be sure to check it out. This concerns Rawalpindi and Balochistan, specifically Dr. Marang Balokh. She has become a symbol of resistance and is leading a movement that, according to Pakistani generals, is linked with terrorist proxy groups like BLA and allegedly backed by India. However, she claims she is only fighting for the missing persons from Balochistan, innocent people who have disappeared. Her own father was abducted and later found dead. Marang Balokh has now sent a legal notice to DG ISPR Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif, who had labelled her a terrorist proxy in a press conference. He made very harsh accusations referring to her disrespectfully, even though she is a woman, and alleged she was acting on behalf of India and the BLA. She has decided to take the matter to court, saying that he has insulted not just her but the entire Balokh community, damaged her reputation and made baseless accusations. She has also demanded compensation and legal accountability. Now, whether anything meaningful happens in court is debatable, especially since in Pakistan, judicial bias is a concern. The court might rule against her in the very first hearing. So this move might be more psychological or strategic, possibly to pave the way for future legal action internationally. This one is related to the chairman of WAPDA, Lieutenant General retired Sajjad Ghani. He recently became famous after an interview from his lavish farmhouse, featuring swimming pools and other luxuries, where his son proudly showed it all off, thanking his parents for the wealth, jokingly saying, "It's all your blessing, master." Social media is now flooded with corruption allegations against Sajjad Ghani. Some claim he was Corps Commander Karachi in 2013 and was involved in major corruption. Although there are no official documents available to confirm this, the public allegations are severe. Another issue being discussed online is the Diama Basha Dam, which was supposed to cost $4 billion, but allegedly due to his influence, costs skyrocketed to $36 billion. Critics claim he has been like termites eating away at Pakistan's resources, and Sajjad Ghani isn't alone. Many retired generals hold influential positions. For instance, Lieutenant General Munir Afzal was appointed chairman of NADRA, even after being removed by court, only to be reinstated with judicial help. Now, Sajjad Ghani has resigned from his position, but before resigning, he is believed to have siphoned off massive resources, metaphorically speaking. Not water, but cement and gravel, meaning large-scale corruption. If all these allegations hold weight, then instead of punishment, he might end up being appointed as an ambassador or even become a future prime minister, since corrupt individuals tend to be highly valued in certain government circles. So a word of advice, don't stop answering his calls or associating with him. In Pakistan, people often cut ties once someone loses power, but given his accomplishments, he may well return in an even bigger role. The more corrupt someone is, the more appreciated they are these days. Let's wait and see what happens to him in the coming days. President Trump has said that Israel does not have the capability to eliminate Iran's nuclear power. This is exactly what we explained in our previous vlog, where we mentioned that even America's most powerful bomb, the GBU-57, cannot reach many of Iran's nuclear sites, as it can only penetrate 60 feet of concrete and 200 feet of earth. Iran's facilities are located 3,300 feet underground within mountains and thus are well protected. So, while Trump says Israel lacks the capability, in reality, Israel and America are effectively one and the same when it comes to policy. They are united. They seem like one country because of their policies. In other words, perhaps they are trying to say, even if they aren't saying it directly, that we also don't have the kind of facility that, if Iran makes a nuclear bomb, we could damage their system. Now, whether they will be able to build one or not, that's a big question. Have they built it or not? Do they even want to build it? Maybe they do. But do they have the capability to build it or not? And as mentioned in the first news story, the explosion that happened, was that a test? Or have they still not done a test? Or do they not have the facility for it yet? These are open questions, and we don't have the answers yet. As soon as we do, we'll share them with you. The next news is also concerning. Due to a possible Iranian attack, the United States has removed its aircraft from its central airbase in Qatar. The planes have been flown out and stationed elsewhere. This is a major development. Why? Because it suggests that the United States might be preparing to attack, or could get directly involved in the conflict in the coming days. Remember last time when they removed personnel from their bases, Israel attacked Iran just 2 days later. Now again, satellite imagery claims the planes have been removed, and social media is abuzz with debates. If this news is correct, then it's likely that a major strike on Iran is coming, and this time, possibly with direct United States involvement. After meeting Hafiz Sahib, President Trump announced they would declare within 2 weeks when they would attack Iran. So the schedule has already been hinted at. Let's see what happens in the coming days. Next news comes from Newsweek. They say the world is laughing at Pakistan. Newsweek's headline says, Pakistan has nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize, even while he's threatening neighboring Iran, demanding unconditional surrender and openly claiming they know where Ayatollah Khamenei is and can kill him if needed, though they won't for now. It wasn't just Newsweek. Many are mocking this move. Professor Derek Grossman also commented that Pakistan's global integrity has taken a huge hit and its international respect has dropped significantly. This act by the Pakistani government has drawn a lot of criticism, especially given the highly controversial situation in Gaza, Israel and Iran. Today, Senator Mushtaq, known for being vocal about human rights and from Jamaat-e-Islami, also criticized this decision on Twitter, pointing out the stark contrast between what's happening in Iran and Pakistan's actions. Next is speculation about global responses. There's growing expectation that China, Russia, or even Turkey might get involved. China has, once again, called for peace and negotiations, urging restraint and avoidance of unprovoked attacks. Russia had initially offered to mediate between Israel and Iran. President Putin now says that was just an idea. He's not officially offering mediation anymore, unless both parties express a desire for it. So his statement should only be taken as an idea, not a concrete offer. Turkey's President Erdogan said that Muslims should unite against Israeli aggression. Just a few years ago, Erdogan was seen as a rising voice in the Muslim world, ready to act. But now, because of Turkey's internal and external circumstances, he stays very quiet, doesn't breathe loudly, doesn't speak strongly for fear of upsetting the global powers. His response now is as mild as Awami Lens was on Moeed's symbolic, soft and mostly silent. Next update is from Lahore. A freight train was scheduled to leave for Moscow on either June 16th or June 22nd. Some say it was meant to leave on the 16th, but no one knows if it actually did. Others say it's scheduled for the 22nd, which is tomorrow. This freight train was supposed to carry raw materials and business cargo from Lahore to Moscow. Now there's speculation that it might not depart. Whether the recent White House meeting is behind this decision or not is unclear. Maybe it was made before, maybe after. But if this train doesn't leave, it might be symbolic that we've caught another train, meaning we've made another geopolitical choice. We'll discuss the consequences in detail later. Now, a video is being presented. It reflects Pakistan's overall situation. In Pakistan, powerful people publicly humiliate those beneath them. You often view such events with human sympathy, but they must also be examined through the lens of anthropology and sociology. These behaviors create patterns. They become learned and repeated. The man in the video isn't a peon or clerk, which is not a bad thing, but a sitting MPA from Sargodha, Rana Munawar Ghaus, General Secretary of PMLN in his area. He was talking to Mariam Nawaz, but Asma Bukhari harshly told him to leave. Watch how badly she dismisses him and how he lowers his head and walks away, despite being an elected representative. Other MPAs around him stand respectfully like obedient children, showing humility they probably never show to their own parents. You might say, so what? It's their party, their leader, their respect. Fair enough. But this kind of public humiliation becomes a cultural norm. Asma Bukhari herself might be treated the same way by others. This cycle of abuse is learned. People who are humiliated in power structures learn to humiliate those below them. It happens in the military too. Seniors shout and abuse juniors. And when those juniors rise in rank, they repeat the same behavior. It becomes accepted. A learned behavior. Not through formal training, but by living through it. It becomes institutionalized. That's why in such systems, no one questions unethical orders. It's always, yes, sir. This same behavior is now entrenched in politics. These MPAs now believe it's their right to humiliate those weaker than them. Look at how a policeman salutes the powerful but turns into a tyrant when stopping a poor cyclist or rickshaw driver. This high-power distance culture teaches people that if you're in power, you can abuse others. The real responsibility lies with those at the top, leaders. They should show humility and humanity, so others follow their example. But unfortunately, the people Hafiz Sahib has surrounded himself with are not only uncultured and uneducated, they are also extremely arrogant. But what can we do? Hafiz Sahib likes such people. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.